Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the treats
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys, still, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End on your Monday evening. I'm Marcus Dash. Right there on the right is our guy, former Chiefs tight end and legendary Chiefs tight end and best blocking tight end of all time, Jason Dunn. JD, how are you doing, my man? People been hyping you up on Twitter all day today, my man.
Yo, man, I tell you what, man, I'm feeling all the love. I am feeling all of the love. You know, it's kind of one of those things, you know, I didn't even know if I was going to, you know, kind of retweet some of these things. And I retweeted in response to some knucklehead that was out there, you know, when, you know, everybody's doing the days, you know, days till the opening of football, right? And, you know, our good friend of the show, you know, Lexi sent one out for 89 and, you know, Otis Taylor and, you know, somebody said Andre Rison. And I'm just like, yeah, absolutely. Wonderful thing. You know, so shout out to Lexi for doing that. You know, she always got our back. And then somebody from up in Philly did one talking about 87, right? It was like, who was this? And so everybody's Jason Dunn, you know, going down the road. And there's always one joker. There's always one Yahoo that's got something silly to say, right? And so I guess this guy makes a comment, you know, and I saw it, and it was like, you know, Jason Dunn, you know, had 332 yards, you know, his first year in Philly and played 11 years in the NFL, right? And he kind of smirked and laughed at it, right? And I was sitting there thinking, this guy right here don't know me at all. He just doesn't. You know, and the smallest is that people go and try to check up on your stats and then trying to assess who you are, what your career has been, thus from you know, the numbers. And guy didn't know that. And then he made another offhanded comment when I told him, I'm this best blocking tight end ever out here and whatnot. And then what did he say? You know, because I don't really give it a lot of airtime for this, but I just had to say it, right? He said something like, well, with your numbers, yada, yada, whatever, today, this would have been, you would have been a free agent or undrafted free agent. And I'm sitting there like, when I read the tweet, I'm like, what? Like, what's this guy? What's this? Obviously, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I'm just like, you know, I don't know if you know this or not. You know, when I came out, I was rated the number one tight end in the nation. These guys didn't get it wrong. You know, style of offense we ran the ball a lot. The other guys was getting balls, which is fine. But I had a 40-inch vertical, did 225, 29 times. Now, I told you they shorted me for 3 of them, Marcus. And I had a 4.5 40. I said, in every measure, which my numbers are still some of the best in the history of the combine for tight ends. You don't believe me? Go look it up, right? This is still a first and second round pick. Because I had 2 knee surgeries, you don't quite know what happened with me, and you know my speed obviously wasn't the same. Then I get out to Kansas City. We had a big joke out there that caught a lot of balls. Who's in all, you know, argument is the best tight end ever in the game, in Tony Gonzalez. So I didn't have to catch a whole lot of balls. Didn't have to, and so. I told him, you know, I had 1,000-yard rushers behind me the whole time. And, you know, it was good that, you know, I sent the tweet. I said, should I do this? I was like, yeah, I'm going to send this out real quick, right? Because some people just don't know. They don't quite get it. They don't quite understand. Mike Boyer, a guy that got on the show, love Mike. Mike was like, listen, I've trained a lot of first rounders, Jason coming up there to be one of the first rounders at the time, first and second round. One of the best athletes ever coached. 260 could do a standing backflip. So, and then of course the guys try to back off and stuff, and it's just kind of one of those things, man. Yeah, but it was a glorious day. It's a glorious day. The funniest one was. Go ahead. You were gonna say something.
No, I was just saying. I mean, you had everyone. You didn't even need to say anything. You had everyone backing you up online. Everyone was big fans. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah, the one that with Dexter was one that
That was a good one too.
I didn't see that one. Yeah. Oh man, it was the one with Dexter, the one that got me. That one
right here.
Yeah, that one right there. I said that to my kids, man, and they just, oh my gosh, they got a kick out of that one. Yeah, stunting on them hoes. That was funny. It had me in stitches, man. I was on the ground from that one. So good.
Yeah, people on the internet, man, they're very fast with they're very quick with memes and GIFs and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Nana Sherry, what's up, Nana Sherry? Here's all folks that are here. I'm the Brown is in here in the house. Jeremiah de Muertos, Ray 028, Angry Old Fetus, Linda Hunter, Justin the Way, G Pick, Chief for 65 point. I think Nana Sherry was on there, of course, and Kevin just up in here. But yeah, man, it's the silliness of it all, really. And I was telling Frank Minifield, who's been on the show with us too. Frank was like, JD, he said, you know what? I don't even know why you went that far with it. He said, to be honest, so a guy who's never sniffed getting into the NFL is going to try to tell you what the standard of. I was like, look, I know. I just maybe just sometimes you got to educate people. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, they're not going to know. And so he backtracked. Oh man, I was only 12 and I was a little kid. I didn't know all this. Hey man, should have did your homework besides just looking at stats and understand what things are, right?
Yeah.
And then try to make a little sly remark.
Because there's plenty of articles out there. I mean, all you do is type in your name. There's plenty of articles of like top 10 blocking tight ends of all time. It talks about you. I mean, like one of the most underrated players in Chiefs history, Jason Dunn. I mean, there's a million articles about you on the web. So these people who say, "Oh, I didn't do my research, I didn't know," it's like, okay, you did a Google research just to check his stats out, but you didn't go to check like anything deeper than that. But that's what it is. And again, forget about pro football. I mean, we don't even know some of these people who say things online if even played freaking youth league football, let alone getting close to the NFL. I mean, who knows they can throw a spiral? They probably can't.
Yeah. Funny stuff, man. We always talk about like social media is one of those things that, people utilize for a lot of different reasons. And you have these trolls out here, people talk a lot of different things, and nobody goes to the meat of issues and talks about these things to the depths of it and what they should, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of nuanced things there in that whole 11-year career, the things that happen and whatnot, and people involved. And I always say this, Marcus. I love the fans in Philly, still get love up there in Philly. Love all the fans out there in Kansas City, especially my family right here in the Chief Concerns family. The ones that come out here support both of us and this channel, because it means something to us. And so we want to do a good job for them. But hey man, we do it for you all. That's what we do it for. And we even do it for the haters and the ones that don't like us and all, or say silly things, right? Like, I don't mind any of those things. I don't really hold anything against that guy, to be honest with you. But sometimes you just got to let some people know. Sometimes it's probably you just got to let people know, man. When it starts popping off, Marcus, a couple times like that in the rap in the mouth, woo! Sometimes you got to give it to them. Yeah. I'm with
you. Yeah, well, he doesn't know ball. Maybe he can be a new subscriber to the Chief Concerns. We've had an influx of subscribers. Maybe this guy was one of the new ones, JD. Maybe after you kind of educated him, maybe he was, what? I like this Jason Dunn guy. Let me learn more about football from this guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna deal with him graciously. You know what I mean? Just You know, I had other people around it, but I just, you know, I love everybody who kind of stood up, I guess, come to my defense of what they're just talking about. And I love every single one of them for it, you know. And, you know, I take the good with the bad, brother. You know me. Shoot, I'm good either way. I know who I am. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
mhm.
So, guys, obviously tonight we're going to get into every Monday we've been doing a different position group. Tonight we're going to get the offensive line, which you can honestly say might be the biggest. Well, it's always the biggest deal, but this probably has the most questions from people who are Chief. Some people who are Chief fans who, I've seen comments over the last few weeks. We've talked about Josh Simmons and Kingsley. People saying we reached and do a good enough job addressing the offensive line, which I don't know where you can see that, but nonetheless, some Chief fans are very concerned about the offensive line, and then you have some people on the other, the national media pundits who think we are, Chiefs aren't going to be the same because of the offensive line problem. So a lot of questions on this offensive line. So we're going to get into all of that tonight. We're going to look at our new faces, the returning guys, and just overall the depth in the room here tonight. But I also did want to say last week I made a comment about how many subscribers we were at till 10,000. We were at about 135, I believe, on Thursday. Now we were at about 92 subscribers until 10,000 subscribers, guys. So we are itching towards that giant 10,000 milestone. And of course, we wouldn't be able to do that without all of you guys in the chat, all of the guys who watch, everybody, male or female, who watches our show, listens to our show. Thank you guys for getting us to this point. We're 92 more. So tell your friends, tell your sisters, tell your brothers, tell your cousins, tell your mothers, tell your fathers, tell anybody to come be a part of the Chief Concerns family. We have 92 more to get on that giant milestone. But just wanted to kind of celebrate that because it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Big deal, man. Come on in, man. Listen, the water is fine. Come on in. Okay, bring your friends and your family, and that's all we're asking. And if people don't know about us and they haven't had a chance to come see us, hey, introduce them to us, right? And say, hey, look, you want a family, you want somebody you want to be involved, you want to be a part of, or something great. Come on over here to Chief Concerns, okay? And come see some of these guys come do it, right? So I appreciate each and every one that has at least peeked their head into this thing. And, like I said before, man, we appreciate every bit of it, every single one of it. So we are showing our gratitude. So we might have to do something big for the 10,000, Marcus. Have a couple little things, right? We
could definitely do that. Yeah, for sure. JD and I are getting together next Tuesday to kind of brainstorm some stuff. We've already talked about a certain surprise we're going to have for you guys coming in this coming season.
Yes.
So that's one thing. But we're going to kind of brainstorm and think of different things and fun things to kind of do with the our Chief Concerns family. So you guys, this year, 2025 is going to be a fun and special year in the Chief Concerns family. So we're just getting started here. Just June, just halfway into the 2025 year, but it's going to be a good year. So just going to tease that. We got some good stuff to look forward to in this upcoming season and year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So yeah, man, let's talk about the big boys, guys. That at the big boy table. How about that, man? There's a lot to talk about. Really good guys out there, man. So
a lot. And of course, the offensive line. So obviously there's three positions we're going to be looking at: center, tackle, and guard. Obviously center, we kind of know where that stands, but we're going to look into all of that. But JD, before we kind of dive into it all with the offensive line,
okay.
Now I said before that there's some questions, there's a lot of questions mixed. Some Chief fans are fine with the way Veach handled the offseason with the offensive line. You have national pundits who, think that the Chiefs are going to regress because of the offensive line. And the last time we saw them, Joe Tooney's gone now. Now you have two question marks on the left side. We have a guy who we signed who only started 4 or 5 games last year. And then we also drafted a guy who may not be ready for the season, but all reports show that he will be, and Josh Simmons. But when you think to the offensive line, kind of based on the last time we saw it in that Super Bowl game to where it is right now, what are your general thoughts on the offensive line before we kind of dive in positionally?
You said what do I think where we are
So as far as everything we saw from the Super Bowl, the last time we saw the offensive line to where we are right now, June 9th.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the job Veach did to kind of work on this offensive line and fix some of the issues that we did have from that last game we saw?
I think he did a wonderful job addressing the issues that we had. Part of it was, we was getting beat by 4, And I seen Andy Heck get up there and he was talking about it. And, he was talking about the job that Veach had done as far as doing his evaluation, his analysis of the guys that was coming out. They got them a first-round pick, a top pick in Josh Simmons. Not to mention, because they weren't quite sure who they was going to get in the first round at that time, they went and got another in Jalen Moore during free agency to come in here and start at left tackle. And I think they did a tremendous job in doing that, right? Joe Tooney leaves us, goes to Chicago. And so now we have questions. Who's going to be over there? Who's going to be the guy? Some of the guys that we were looking for who could have been able they were priced out of our market of what we wanted, the price point, to be honest with you. We just weren't going to do it. We had other priorities on the offensive line that we needed to sign, like Trey Smith, that, and also too on the defensive side of football that we wanted to do. So we went and got a Jalen Moore, a guy that has a lot of potential, has been a starter for a little bit in the league behind Trent Williams, showed a lot of promise, had good feet, very solid tackle, and we brought him here. So once we addressed that issue, then when it came to, obviously, in the draft, we was thinking, well, hey, why not just get one? How about we get two? And so, especially in this draft, when you have a talent like a Josh Simmons, okay, which I believe is like a generational talent, to be honest with you, how athletic, how big he is, how he moves, how powerful he is, you got to take a guy like that. And to be honest with you, if we didn't get him, I think we might went a different direction, Marcus, in our first round pick. And so I think we always had our eyes on him. And once we started, flexing at me a little bit, because that was a question, is the medical thing, they were fine with where he was at. And they was like, hey, all we needed to do was get him healthy. That's what Andy Heck said. So when I listened to him was talking about these guys, he sounded pleased. He sounded pleased not just with them, but also to the void somewhat left because of Joe Tooney leaving, right? Well, what are we going to do? Well, guess what? We got us a young guy, okay, who was supposed to be our left tackle of the future in King Sumoate. Didn't quite work out, needed to get a little bit more confidence, and they decided to move him down a little bit, move him inside to guard. And he came out and he played the Denver game, played extremely well. Andy said it was probably one of our greatest bright spots we had during that game, if there was any, his own words. And he showed he could play that position and do it effectively. So he has all the tools to be a starter here in the league. We thought that was at left tackle, and he still has that ability to be a left tackle, a starter in this league. But they wanted to make it a little bit easier. They gave him a left guard. Okay, that void that was we were missing. Mike Caliendo did a good job filling in when Joe Tooney moved out. But guess what, Josh? King Suma came in and did a great job also as well. So, Marcus, I think we did a great job with what we felt was our weak link was our left side. We did a great job addressing that. Obviously, we still got the number one center. Trey Smith is still, I'd say all-pro. Jawan Taylor, even with some of his faults as far as the false starts and stuff like that, is a solid right tackle. No question about it. I think it's just going to get even better. But as far as addressing all of that, let me just bring it to a head. Veach did a great job, tremendous job in doing that, man. And so we're going to get into that beat, the meat and potatoes, as Jeremiah DeMuerto says, tonight about what these guys look like.
For sure. And if you guys have any questions, ask away, and JD and I will tackle all of your questions, or block your questions tonight. Not block, but we'll embrace all the questions you guys have when you guys send them, and we'll do it at the end of the episode. But if you have any questions on the topic we're doing, we'll get to them as we're doing them. So let's begin, JD. So we're going to talk about our new faces that we brought in to Kansas City. These are returning faces. Sorry, not the new faces.
Okay.
So all returning guys. So I think I added it up. We've collectively 15 offensive linemen on the active roster, collectively 15 in total. These are the guys who are returning from last year: Jawan Taylor, Ethan Driscoll, Chu Godric. By the way, Chu Godric's name, I have to go back and look at it. His full name, because I know he goes by Chew Godric. It's like, I think it's like spelled like Chewbacca. I was like, holy crap, it's like pretty like close to like the Chewbacca like Star Wars name, which is interesting name. But he of course was on the he was the what do you call it, international player, the international player that made our team last year. So we had the extra roster spot with him. He comes back this year. And this is the first time in the last few years that I've seen that we've brought back an international player for 2 years in a row. So that might mean they have something with this guy, which is pretty exciting, honestly, especially with Andy Heck being our offensive line coach. Wanya Morris is back. Creed Humphrey, who today PFF rated him the number 1 center in football, which we knew that. You've been saying that for a while. Trey Smith, that's kind of where I'm most scared about, is the Trey Smith situation. As that continues to unfold until he gets his full contract. Kingsley's back. Mike Endo, CJ Hansen, Hunter Norzad. So you look at offensive line, I mean, look at the offense here. You got 4 guys who are returning back to the starting, or if you can't count Kingsley, 4 guys are returning back to the starting lineup of the offensive line. Yeah. JD, look at the returning guys. What stands out to you when you look at this list here?
I see a lot of solid guys, and I see depth. That's what I see. We have a lot of guys that has a lot of versatility on our offensive line. They can play multiple positions, kind of across the board. And that I think that's one good thing that we have with these guys is if you need to move a guy to a different position, he can do that. And I think they're preparing those guys as such. So, we could have, offensive tackles out there, the OTs behind their name and the centers and guards and whatnot. But we also understand that these guys are probably playing multiple positions because of their body type, because of their athletic ability, because of their strength and their power. So that's what I see. I see a lot of good guys out here right now, man. It's good depth. It's good depth.
JD, are you as scared as some Chief fans are of the whole Trey Smith situation playing into training camp? I mean,
No.
he hasn't been in any OTAs yet. And, that's just one thing that's obviously lingering just because the contract situation is what it is, right? You have the tag. But are you scared that he's not going to – or not scared, but do you fear this is going to kind of drag out till we get to training camp? Until he gets a long-term deal?
No, not really. I don't – at this point, you're kind of like, look, we got to – play with the guys that we got here right now, see what guys can do. And if this is something that does drag out for a long time or, somebody demanding to have a long-term deal, at that point, other people are getting reps at that position as well. So I'm not really worried about it. This is something, it's just contract talks. It's what this thing is, how it happens. Right. And so, it'll all work itself out. It'll all work itself out. And so, okay. Because I said the versatility on the offensive line with guys, that puts the Chief in a pretty decent position, to be honest with you. Okay. We know that Wanya Morris has played over there to the right side. Could he play guard? Sure. Are there other guys in here that could possibly play guard? Yeah, possibly. But Trey wants to get paid. I get it. He hasn't been there, but they're having the conversations, man. They're having the conversations. You don't worry about these things until it starts getting into, first part of the season, right? Or the training camp. Like what part of training camp? There's plenty of time to get things done. Plenty of time for Trey to say, hey, look, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and play on a 1-year deal, whatever it may be. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all about this. No. So that's the answer.
What would be? I know because most of the time we hear holdouts, and I'm not saying he's going to hold out, right? But most of the time when we hear about holdouts and stuff, we hear about it's usually the diva guys, right? It's usually the receivers, it's usually the running backs, usually the guys who touch the ball. And we saw, and most recently we saw it with our own guy, Chris Jones. He came back week 2 of that a couple of years ago, missed week 1, and he even said he was pretty winded when he came back. Now, is that kind of the bigger thing you're worried about with the guard type? Because with a bigger type dude, are we worried about like the conditioning aspect of a guy like that is going to hold that miss mandatory minicamp if he does? Because he's missed OTA so far. If it does drag out, what would be the bigger things you're worried about with a guard missing on practice time and camp time, especially a guy who's been there for so long already?
Just technique wise with live bodies. That's about it. But for a lineman, he could get back in shape fairly quick. I mean, really can. Trey's is still working out. He's not like sitting on the couch, eating Funyuns. He's just not doing things like that. Okay. I'm sure he's in there taking care of himself, working himself out. He ain't back here, chugging down, 2-liter bottles of Diet Pepsi, Marcus. I cannot see Trey Smith doing that. And so we know he's a hard worker. Coach up here at EKU, Walt Wells, who coached him at Tennessee, talked about how hard he works. We've seen it. And so I have no issue as far as with Trey Smith in itself. So he ain't gonna be just a lazy dude just sitting on it. He's not gonna be doing that. So I don't really worry about as far as the conditioning wise. They ain't got far to go anyway. So
very true. Very true. Which is different with the defensive tackle, right? Where Chris Jones sometimes plays outside, sometimes plays inside. He's got to go chase the quarterback or whoever in the backfield and stuff. So it's a little different as far as the conditioning wise than that.
Well, and also too, Chris Jones got to go through 2 or 3 different guys.
Yeah,
it's not like he's just getting blocked by a single man. They're making sure they're double teaming Chris Jones. And I would have to say, pass rush when somebody you're trying to get off and make a tackle. That's hard because somebody's pushing on you at the time that you're trying to disengage and corral a guy, really. So I just don't, I think that's a harder thing for a defensive tackle to do. Shoot, man, you got to get through a wall, a body, and, that's a tough task. That's a tough obstacle to do. Offensive lineman, yes, you got, yours is timing. It's really the guy beside you. I was saying this to one of my guys, Tyron Hobson. We were speaking, but offensive line, everybody has to be on the same page. That's what you miss, so forth. It's really that everybody has to be in, concert with one another. Okay, I got to know what the guy on the inside and outside of me is doing. I got to know what the calls are. I got to know how far he's going to sit back. And so sometimes those times do, change a little bit. And like I said, the live bodies is more so kind of the challenge, but. Other than that, man, I don't think as far as, the conditioning part is going to be that big of a deal.
And you also threw me for a loop there with the Funyuns, JD. Everyone in the chat's loving your name drops there. Funyuns, either you're going to say Cheetos or either going to say something. You want something a little different tonight. I like that.
Yeah. Stanley Mooney said we tagged him this year, so he missed out on a bigger contract this year. So I'm sure he's making sure that contract is set in stone for the future. So here's the thing. I'm going to say this. All right. We did tag him for this year. And it's a good tag. It's a good amount of change that we tagged him for. It really is. And he's taking advantage of the market for where it should be, as he should. I want Trey to get paid. I do. But you know what? You know what they evaluate? They look for guys that are replaceable. And sometimes teams don't mind taking chances replacing certain guys in certain positions. That's the reality. Is it easier to replace, let's just say, a guard than it is maybe a center or a tackle? I do believe it is, Marcus. For all the things I've been making as far as an argument with King Suma. Like, why is it easier for him to play guard than it is tackle? Well, because he has help on the inside and outside of him. Okay? Makes his job somewhat easier. Now, if you talk to any offensive line coach or any guy inside, you got to make sure he's conditioned and powerful enough for the brunt of the rush. Okay? Or the run lanes and getting up to the next level, double teams and all of that. That's what you're worried about as far as for guard. And do you think the Chiefs hasn't evaluated if they can do without maybe a Trey Smith? They let Joe Tooney go. They let Joe go. Joe was the best guard in the league. In my opinion, shoot, I don't think it was.
I would say, do you think? I mean, age obviously played a part in that, right?
Age played a part, no question about it. But he was still playing at a high level. Like, he was our best lineman. He was. And so when I say that, yeah, age is playing a part of it, but they let a Joe Tooney go. Could they have gotten a Joe Tooney who was high in age, longer in the tooth for less money? Absolutely. They probably could have. You know what I mean? Because he's up at Chicago. So let's just be honest here. And we can tell, look, I've said this before, and everybody needs to understand this, man, that sometimes when guys make a lot of money, sometimes they become expendable. All right. And I'm not saying this is what Trey Smith is, but the Chiefs might look at it and say, hey, look, man, we gave you a good tag of $23 million. There's things we want to do, right? Because they know there's other guys they want to sign for a long-term deal. There's other guys too, right? We understand this, but money's going up. Trey's just doing his job. His agent's doing his job too. Okay, let's put a little pressure on the Chiefs. We understand where the market is. Let's see what they're gonna do. See if there's any movement. So
let me ask you there. So you got Chiefs mandatory minicamp is June 17th or June 19th. So we have that's next week, the mandatory minicamp. There hasn't been any of the voluntary OTA stuff yet. But Trey Smith also has a July 15th deadline. The Chiefs have a July 15th deadline to get a long-term deal done with him. Otherwise, he signs the tag, and there you go. Yeah. So, do you think? Okay, let me ask you. Do you think he will be here? Will Chiefs see him next week, mandatory minicamp, or no? If you had to make a guess,
if he hasn't been here at OTAs, yeah, probably not.
Okay,
probably not. It wouldn't shock me if he did show up. Maybe it's all just a nothing burger. Maybe Trey was like, hey, man, look, I just don't feel like coming to OTAs right now. So that's how that works. And I hear Stanley right now, if he was to get injured in practice before having the contract, my opinion is the smart move to wait. Yeah, so if he hasn't signed the tag and he hasn't signed anything on paper, then sure, you might as well wait. Right? So, like I said, we're talking about what, 23 smackaroos? The tag? That ain't chump change by no means.
On a 1 year? Woof, that's nice.
Nice. Nice. Yes.
That is retirement worthy for many people in the workforce in the world.
Yeah, of course, but this is the market for
for sure. No.
Yeah. So it's a good payday. It's a good payday.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to make not a wager on it, but July 17th or July 15th is the deadline, do you think the Chiefs get a deal done by July 15th, or do you think they let this thing go into next year? Everything Vish just said is that they're working on a long-term deal. But again, that's what GMs say. We don't know. We know that's what they say all the time. Whether they intend on bringing him back or not, that's what the GMs always say. But if you had to make a guess, do you think they get a deal done by the 15th or no?
I don't know. No, you know what? I think they might want him to play on the tag. They might want to work on a long-term deal, and they'll say, "Hey, listen, look, we'll go on play on the tag. After the season's over, we'll give you a long-term deal. Depends on what everything looks like, right? This is $23 million guaranteed. Okay, it's guaranteed money. So it's more than he's ever made. So
as a 6th-round pick, yeah, this is a big payday.
Big payday, man. Big payday. But this is why, like, when sometimes you take chances, there's other opportunities for other guys to come in and show what they can do. So,
yeah. So the Trey Smith saga will continue, and it'll be interesting to see. Will be interesting to watch, see how this thing unfolds. Hopefully it's not as much drama as we saw a couple years ago with the Chris Jones situation. The offensive linemen are different than even those edge rush type guys. Even those guys are kind of diva, right? In their own right. But because the way that whole thing played out with the watching the games from the stands, having the seats where he had them, that whole thing, but nonetheless, we got to sign Chris Jones, and he's here for the long haul. So just hope it's less dramatic than that.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it'll be less dramatic. I think the difference was Chris Jones, I do believe, is a hard guy to replace. I think he's one of those guys, just such a rare talent that you can't move away from a Chris Jones. There's a lot of people that wanted to do it. There's a lot of people say, man, don't pay him. Don't pay Chris Jones and let him sit up there and look at him and his agents, man, they got mad. Oh, they was hot at the agents and looking at him sitting over at the. I'm just like, yo, man, Chris Jones is one of the best ever to play his position. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. So I don't think this is in the same realm of things. Trent is a very good player. He's a very good player. All right. But then you have to look at it. Is somebody like Trent, is he replaceable? And teams are going to find that out. This is what this camp and all that is for, Marcus. This is a business in the NFL, man. Believe me, it's a business, bro. And people don't quite understand this point of it, but that's how easy they can move from a guy.
For sure.
They can. So it's not saying that Trey Smith is not worthy of the $23 million or the contract he's going to be given. But they got to take in every account of all the things. Like somebody said, George Kalafdis, McDuffie, you know what I mean? Shoot. See, Justin Away said lose him and pay Trent and George.
There's a lot of arguments. There's a lot of arguments for that.
They're going to be exploring all of these scenarios, believe me.
Yeah. Nasheri says maybe he's busy with his second annual Trey Smith football camp, June 21st, 2025, at the University School of Jackson.
Yeah, I'm sure he's doing that.
That's right after mandatory minicamp. Maybe he did it purposely to go. He's going to go to mandatory minicamp. He's going to go to that right afterwards. Maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So look, looking over here, said the barbershop said Chris Jones can dominate from any position on the D line. Absolutely true. And he's shown his versatility by doing that. The thing is, when there was plays that needed to be done, a sack that needed to happen, Chris Jones stepped up to make those plays. He is a force in himself that he is constantly getting double teamed or triple teamed and make sure they are sitting there saying, we have got to watch this guy. We have to game plan for him. So, what's up, Andrea Chenault? What's going down? But, hey, man, like what you said, these are the final job interviews. Yeah. And with his, his presence not being there, somebody else is getting those reps. And they're getting that evaluation too.
And there's a lot of guards on the team. I mean, that's one thing that stands out here. A lot of guys.
Yeah.
And these are the guys who are just returning. Now we're going to go to the other side of things, the new faces. There's some new faces here. So obviously our main addition for us signing wise this offseason was Jalen Moore, the left tackle from 49ers. Obviously, first round pick. Josh Simmons. Everyone was very excited about that, and we are still excited about that. Then we move on to some undrafted guys who some people are making waves here. Issa Poole from Washington State, and then Dalton Cooper. Both these guys were tackles in college, but they haven't listed an offensive line. They're probably going to be tweeners to tackle guards, which is definitely right up our alley. And then Dalton Cooper from Oklahoma State. I believe if I saw correctly after we signed him, I believe he was rated as one of the top beasts from the Brugler list.
The what?
This guy's the Brugler. Hold on, Brugler.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
He has some kind of weird measurement. He's this guy's a tank apparently. Sorry, but anyway, Dalton Cooper from Oklahoma State. A lot of people love kind of his physicality and strength. And you can see he's a big dude. But yeah, and then this is an interesting one. So we talk about guard and talk about the trying guys in there. Tremaine Antrim from this guy. He was with the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. He wasn't, he didn't start on the Rams, but he's been around the league a little bit. And and he went to Clemson. He was there when I believe they won the national title with Trevor Lawrence. Or no, he was on one of the Trevor Lawrence teams. I think he did win the national title though. But nonetheless, this guy's got some veteran experience. He's not old by any means, but he was 26, 27 years old. JD, when you see these new faces, obviously we love Jalen Moore, we love Josh Simmons. Let's talk about the other guys that we see on this list: the S.F. Pools of the world, the Dalton Coopers, the Tremaine Antrim. Which not a lot of people talk about Tremaine Antrim. I believe somebody on our comments the other day asked about Tremaine Antrim and what we thought about him.
Yeah, I was just kind of looking over his, the prospects on him, what they were saying about him. And short in stature, but plays a confident brand of football, sturdy build and big bubble, quick out of his stance and to his work. Pass slides are rhythmic and smooth, above average bend and agility. Now, this is when he was playing tackle. And they were saying he could come out here and do this at guard. So now, same thing, being easier to play on the inside at guard. And you said that's what he played at the Rams. So I haven't really did my homework too much on him as far as what was his snap count with the Rams. Do you know? Did he get a lot of work out there?
I don't think so. Most of his highlights that I saw are mostly preseason highlights and week 18. So like when the Rams sat their guys a couple years ago before the playoffs, and he got playing time during that game.
How did he look?
I didn't do good research on it.
Okay.
The most stuff I saw was his college highlights, which he looked good in college, but I mean, again,
it was league, man.
Yeah, it's very different.
And then Dalton Cooper, So this is what I was talking about, Marcus. This is where the competition comes in, right? This is where they're trying to figure out, can a guy come in and play at those positions and play well? Can we get away with something like that over here? And they're going to give you guys every opportunity to do that. So Dalton Cooper, 6'7", 326 offensive tackle with a strong athletic profile, projected to be a late round undrafted free agent in 2025 NFL draft. Look, that sucker's 6'7". Oh, 6'5". Somebody say 6'7". Why did he say 6'7"? 323. Okay. Says 5-year starter, maintains proper base width throughout his run blocks, instincts to recognize and quickly protect, twist developments, adequate mirror quickness to defend his edges, uses active hands to battle for positioning and chop rushers hands down. His weaknesses: will need to prove he has enough slide range to stay at offensive tackle. Inconsistent patience leads him to lean and waist bend and protection. Below average anchor when hit with a true speed to power rush. Allows run defenders to get into his frame first at the point of attack. Below average knee bend and pad level fitness run blocks. Now, can you take a big guy like this and move him down to guard? Absolutely. We watched that when they used him. Who was that? Beckham up there in Philly, right? Didn't do a good job at tackle. Same thing with King Suma. Hey, move that sucker down inside, see what he looks like. And that's what they're going to do. If he can't do the job on the outside and, you're looking like, okay, who's going to be the backup for these guys? Well, can this guy play guard? So I do believe this is going to be an approach all during OTAs and minicamps. They're going to work plenty of guys in different positions. Just see if they can hold up, Marcus. Just see if they can hold up.
JD, I say it a lot. You're obviously the best person to ask about this. Is like draft, right? You say the A$AP Poole and Dalton Cooper. If you looked at all their draft bios and stuff, a lot of them say like, "Oh, great, solid tackle in college, but probably a guard at the next level." What are they essentially saying by saying he's probably a guard at the next level? What does that mean when they say that?
It means that they may not have necessarily the standard and the quickness and measure that is required to play in the NFL at that position. So tackle being one of them is, well, maybe having a quick set. Or they were talking about his knee bend. Maybe he can't do that. Maybe he lets people engage in his hands too much and too often. He might not have a punch. Well, if you stop a charge at guard, it makes it a lot easier, okay? Because you got short bursts and, smaller areas. All you have to do is hold up. You got to be able to anchor and anchor immediately. For what Andy Heck says, he says he likes to see his guys get stout at 3 yards, okay? That's what he says. 3 yards is that's where we want to anchor down at this point. We want to meet force with force, okay? And you uphold there, right? I remember you showing that video of Mike Caliendo getting picked up and pushed back and that, like, they don't want to see that. They want to see, hey, if you're down here, right? If you can't play out here and tackle in space because there's fast guys out here, some of the best pass rushers to ever play the game is going to be out there, right? You got to go against J.J. Watt. You're going to have to go get some real dudes out here. Guard, you have to go against a Chris Jones and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Why not put these guys against the best? See how they're going to go against the best in the Chris Jones, right? Or Norman Lott or whoever it is that he had to go in front of, Mike Pennell and all these other guys, right? They're going to get some work, and we're going to test them out. I tell that sucker man, jump back in there. Hey, jump back in there. You want to play? Do you want to play? Then we got to see what you can do, okay, against the best. And I tell you what, man, if you have some good reps against the best, you're going to be considered to be in that position, man. So they just got to understand the opportunity that's presented in front of them. But when they say that this guy doesn't have, that means he doesn't necessarily have all the qualities to play a position at a high level.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's something I always see. It's like, for example, like the Issa Poole, his numbers, right, at Washington State, allowed 9 total pressures and 0 sacks over 498 pass blocking snaps last year. He earned the 8th best pass blocking grade, but probably will be more of a guard at the next level. It's just crazy because you see stats like that, you're like, damn, this guy must be all right. And he's 6'5", 323 as well, so almost the same size as Dalton Cooper. But like when you see that, you're like, dang, like, okay. But then they're like, oh, but he's a guard at the next level. Like, oh, wow, okay, all right.
That's their evaluation. To them, they like, yeah, look, we get it. You did a great job against the competition you went against, but you ain't seeing T.J. Watt out there. You ain't seeing Nick Bosa. Sorry. A guy that's, doing international counting, he's not, that's the guy you're going against. So it's going to be a whole different thing. Andre Chanel, appreciate it. Tell your granddaughter happy birthday to her from all the people here at Chiefs Concerns. Just wanted to tell you that. Andre Chanel, thank you.
Andre's always out celebrating. Andre's always having good old times over there, Andre.
Good. It's good. You're supposed to. That's what life is all about. Enjoy that time, man. We will see you on Wednesday. I see Pono was on here. Pono, what's going on, Pono? Pono's in here in the house.
Yep. Pono says we don't love Jalen Moore yet. He was making me say, because I said, well, we love the Jalen Moore signing. He said, we don't love Jalen Moore yet. You don't love Jalen Moore yet, but I love Jalen Moore.
Yeah.
But Jenny, also too with the Issa Poole that you mentioned, Dalton Cooper, I think the one thing that stands out to both of them last year, 500 pass blocking snaps or 500 snaps, no sacks for Issa Poole. And then what I'm reading here from Dalton Cooper, he recorded 19 starts at left tackle for the Cowboys over the last 2 seasons, and did not yield a single sack in the last 2 years.
Who is this?
Dalton Cooper. So Dalton Cooper and Issa Poole last year did not allow a sack. But what does that? I mean, it obviously doesn't mean anything because these guys are going to be playing guard now. So,
well, but you're still going to have them play their original position too. I think and that's a great thing. It's because, like I said before, their versatility. They got to try them at different positions. And if you are getting beat down there, like, hey man, move inside and see what it looks like. So yeah.
Stanley Mooney, guards have to be able to be an anchor and be able to pull.
Yeah, they do. Stanley, we don't do a whole lot of pulling with our guards, as you know. Every once in a while, we do pull those guys out to do some of the pulling, but not as much. We're more zone oriented, as you could tell. I could tell Stanley Mooney, he's got some football knowledge. I could tell. Stanley, man, are you a coach? Let me ask Stanley real quick. Are you a coach? You coach on any level, or you are your former player?
He definitely knows his ball. I will say that.
Yeah, for sure. I see that. I seen our guys pull. The type of things he said, no, sir. The type of things that when I watch some of our pulling, kick out blocks, trying to capture the edge sometimes. He said high school ball. Okay. We don't do a whole lot of it. We just don't. Like I said, we're more zone oriented as opposed to like man scheme. We might do a little trap every once in a while, some kickouts. Some of the kickouts we did last year didn't look that good from our starters, Trey or Joe. I'm just gonna be honest. We put somebody in there. You got to come over there, man, with bad intentions when you pull. You get up out your stance, you decide to go down that line of scrimmage. You got to make sure you're going to earhole a guy. If he sees you, you know immediately that you are dumping. It's going to be a dump truck, right? You pull that joker up, you toss the joker and throw him up out the club. You got to earhole a guy. And you got to be violent when you get there, baby. You got to be violent. So sometimes last year, man, we weren't violent enough, Marcus. We weren't violent enough.
Well, but that goes what you say. I mean, when you have a culture that doesn't really doesn't like to run the ball, doesn't have that smash mouth violent nature, right? Trey Smith brings it, but it's not. That's just not something that's going to be to the whole group when you don't run the ball enough to get kind of violent with guys. You're always embracing the contact. You're not making the contact as far as being able to play smash mouth football like you want to.
Right. One thing I tell you, Trey does a great job, man, of stalking guys down the field. Trey's trying to maul you every chance he gets. He gets his hands and stuff on. He is trying to maul you immediately, and I've always loved that part of it. When he pulls and stuff like that, we could do that, in the B gap and all those different things. So it shouldn't be that too much of an issue. I'm sure these guys all probably play those positions anyway, Marcus, at some point.
100%. And this is interesting, too. So I just did a quick little research on Antrim. Antrim, 6'2", 314, appeared in 31 games, one career start. He originally came out in the 2020 draft as a tackle, and then in college, and then he transferred to guard in the NFL. In total, so there you go, another guy who went from tackle to guard. But 6'2", 6'2" tackles. You don't see many of those. No. Logged 133 special teams snaps, 101 offensive snaps during his time with the Rams. 96 of those offensive snaps, all of which took place at right guard. So, right guard's what we're talking about.
Hey man, look, they don't just get guys just to be getting guys. They get guys for a reason. They perceive it may be a little problem. They perceive that it might be an issue as far as signing a guy. And so they have to move accordingly. You always have to have contingency plan, Marcus. You always have to. So, yeah.
Stanley Moon, this is kind of why we do not run the ball a lot. More pocket protect for Reed. Stay in your lanes.
Yeah, and we should run the ball more because it helps out with the pass. It helps out with taking some of the pressure off of being in pass protection. Because what you want to do, you want to beat up that defensive line, the linebackers, especially when it comes fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean, you want to just beat them jokers down, be physical on them all the time. And so I think that's why we should implore running the ball even more, just for that situation right there. Why? Because now it's easy to stay in lanes. Now you take a little bit of that juice up out of the guys. Okay, they don't quite have their high motor come fourth quarter. And so if you've been hitting the joker in his thighs and his legs and his knees and whatnot, it changes things up. It changes them up.
Well, you go from being a finesse kind of offense to kind of more of a smash mouth. That's why it's just nice to have a balance, a little bit of both.
Oh, yeah. Pono Kawhi said, what will we have to give up for Trey Hendrickson?
Nothing, because we're not going to pay him what he wants. we don't have the capital for it.
Nah, he doesn't want to get paid, and he should.
Yeah.
He's a problem.
Hey, their loss is a win for us, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's, yeah. Unless he goes to a team in the AFC West, then I get mad about that. Okay, so kind of diving into just the offensive tackle room itself. So we did the returning guys, new faces, obviously a lot of positions there. So just look at the offensive tackle room itself. So what I did was I put Issa Poole and Dalton Cooper in guard and offensive tackle just because they're going to be playing both. It seems like. But tackle room, we have a question here about Ethan Driscoll. We talked about Jalen Moore, Josh Simmons, that kind of rotation that we have, but Ethan Driscoll was a guy who showed flashes during preseason last year, JD, and became a fan favorite because he kind of showed wheels and athleticism for his size. And we had a question here. I'm going to get to it. Pono, our guy Pono. How's it, Jason from Hawaii? What does Driscoll lack besides repetitions? I'm saying. I think that's what he means. He's a physical beast. What do you make of Ethan Driscoll, JD?
I think he's a very tall guy that still needs a lot of experience. My assessment, his feet wasn't as athletic. He had decent movement, but in the long run, he still needs some work. So I don't know. I haven't seen him where he is right now with things. I'm sure he's been working on it, but Ethan Driscoll he was a project. He was a project. I mean, he's a big guy. He's got a lot of size to him. Looks good against the threes in preseason. But when you got guys coming to take off Patrick Mahomes' head, that's a different animal out there, man. That's a different animal. So he needs experience, and maybe he needs a little bit more quickness. Feet need to be a lot better. They can't be heavy. And the thing is, if you're not anchoring down at 6'7", that's all another thing. Nobody like 6'7" like to bend their knees. So it ain't just reps in itself, man. You just got to get better. And consistency is another thing. So you can have like 4 good reps, man, but then all of a sudden it goes somewhere else. We can't put that out there. So got to watch it.
These are Driscoll's when he came out last year. These are his strengths and weaknesses, JD.
Okay. Strengths: Taiwan tackle with long wingspan and big hands. Yep. Patient to catch cross-face attempts and watch them down. Okay. Stays after his block with running feet to sustain. All right. Uses hand strength to latch into pass rushers quickly. Right hand chop eliminates stab attempt by a rusher. All right. Weaknesses: grass pounder with heavy feet up to the second level. We need to widen out his base for improved finish rate. Okay. That means that, when they get narrow in there, he might be lunging. So that trying to finish, especially for a guy that you got to be able to do that. Below average hand quickness and hand placement. Oh, man. These guys up here, man, you see it. They're doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So it's other guys out here too, man, that knows how to do a chop. Likely to struggle with NFL speed to the top of the rush. Oh, see, there it is. Likely to struggle with NFL speed to the top of the rush. That's huge. Wide hands and average core power hinder his mirror. And you can't mirror a guy too. The guy's giving you the business, and you got to work your lateral movement. Everything's got to be, it's got to be tight, man. It's got to be tight. A lot of it is just consistency. He may be able to win in a lot of these battles, but it's about consistency. All the guy needs is one good shot on PM15. That's it. And you got to make sure a guy like that can hold up. So it'd be good to see him in camp to see how he's been developing. But a big body like that, shoot.
Yeah, you've seen these weaknesses and strengths, and we saw it play out during preseason. Did any of this stuff right here kind of say, that makes sense based on what I saw from preseason? Again, he's playing the third and fourth quarter of these games, so it's.
Yeah, look at that. It said, in the second second line, second sentence, it's unlikely he'll ever be able to deal with NFL quickness, but he might be able to improve his technique and hand placement to become more consistent from rep to rep. Driscoll could be a day 3 draft and stash candidate for a team looking to prove his game without having to put him in harm's way. That's just an evaluation. And I think it really it boils down to where his progress has been. So
yeah, but there's some big Ethan Driscoll truthers, JD, and Pono is one of them. He earned a lot more reps than Suma. Not even close comparison wise. Driscoll shows that he heaps more potential. He's got some truthers based on those fourth quarter performances, man. Pono, if he was thrown into week 1 and 2 like Kingsley was, this guy would probably be out of the league, man. I mean, this guy's playing in third and fourth quarters in a preseason games.
Yeah. So what is so I don't understand, but he earned a lot more reps than Suma. How so?
Because he dominated, he flashed in week 3 of preseason and playing in the fourth quarter.
No, it don't work that way, brother. Like, they know he was going to be, a project, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, look, Ethan Driscoll is a guy that you got to be patient with, right? And like they said, his height is likely to create imbalances and lack of foot quickness that cannot be coached up. He can get better. He can get better at it. It might take a little bit more time for him to do that. And there's no shame to say so. And if he's trying to get caught up to NFL speed, that's all right. We don't want to put him in harm's way. We don't want to put the quarterback in harm's way. We won't do any of those things. So this might be a longer process for him to catch up to the NFL speed. I hope he's working on it during the offseason, which I'm sure he is. But with any type of reps that he's getting, it's going to be reps I don't see with the first team. This is going to be reps that he's going to get second and third and all those different things to see what he can do. So has he moved up in the depth chart? That remains to be seen. Yeah. I love the landscape, Marcus. I do. I love the landscape. 6'7", that's one of another things, man. It's like, hey, man, you got it. If you got it, you got it. He got length, he got strength, he got big hands, he's got size.
Yep.
And he's got to put all the other, techniques and fundamentals around him to get to where he needs to get to be a very effective tackler in the NFL. So,
agreed. Yeah, he's got a lot of fans. I will say that. And Pono, you need to get yourself an Ethan Driscoll jersey, buddy. You're going to bat for him big time.
Yeah, man, look, they're in love with his size. It's easy to love. It is.
Yeah,
it's easy to love.
Yeah, I mean, you love the potential of that. Hence why that's why it's a draft and stash kind of guy.
Right. Does that translate into him being a starting tackle in the league? It remains to be seen.
Yeah, still a lot left of the development for him. JD, when you look at this room, and the biggest question that we all had going into free agency was the left tackle spot, and you kind of nailed it at the beginning that you think Veach kind of did a great job addressing that. And Absolutely. Just looking at Josh Sims and Jalen Moore, it's like it's night and day comparatively to what we've had at the left tackle room over the years. I mean, even when we had Orlando Brown, like we weren't in a place where it was like, oh, if Orlando Brown goes down, we're set even at that left tackle spot. No, it was nothing. Right now, we're in a position where we can have Jalen Moore, who I know hasn't played enough, which, some people like Pono said he hadn't seen enough of him. And be like, you play 5 games as starting left tackle, more than Ethan Driscoll showed. And he had a 90 PFF rating, take it for what it is, PFF, whatever. But he looked good for the Niners is grade wise. At Jalen Moore, so that you have that. And if Jalen Moore's not the guy, if he gets hurt, then you have Josh Simmons coming and ready to be the guy of the future. And if he is the guy of the future to start the season, well, then you have Jalen Moore waiting in the wings. So, like, is this, would you say, in your opinion, is this the best left tackle room or tackle room that we've had in the PM15 era?
I don't know. I'm going to say this. They're both pretty good. We're in a very good spot where we are right now, no question about it. It's probably the best that we've seen in the past few years, to be honest with you. And so when you have a first-round pick and Josh Simmons, who has everything, he has a whole package, right? And then Jalen Moore is another guy who is another starter in the NFL. We've seen his package because of when he came in for Trent Williams, he did a tremendous job. So this is probably our best case scenario, Marcus, we've been in quite some time. I don't know the era of a PFF. I have no idea, as far as all those different things and stuff like that, because everybody has a different grading scale that they do things and how they look at. I get it. But as far as for what we look at, what we did last year, the year before then, we're pretty solid at this position.
Yeah, and I think Witchy kind of hits the nail on it. It may, as of right now, it may not be the best tackle room, but if you're looking at future-wise and youth-wise, the potential this could be, it's very young. I'm going to say Creed, Trey Smith, and Juwan Taylor are very expensive, very young and expensive. But again, it's a very young offensive line here. And we talk about youth movement we've had in the secondary and in positions. We got a pretty good youth movement going up in that front of that offensive line.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about that then. So, left side, if it happens to be Josh Simmons or Jalen Moore, and then you talked about on the left guard, you got King Suma, right? Caliendo, Creed, very young. Trey Smith, we don't know what that's going to turn into, and Juwan Taylor. So who's waiting to win on the other side if it doesn't work with Juwan and then Trey, right? We're going to talk about these scenarios right now. So you still have a young Wanye Morris that can play over there. These other young guys, are they going to turn it to something that, we find, a diamond in the rough with these guys, even though Dalton Cooper or Issa Poe or, with what's the name of it? Tremaine, right? So we don't quite know. But at least right here, man, offensive tackle, I think we're good. True Godric looked like a pretty decent guy too, man. If we keep him around, is he something that could potentially be, something good for us? And we're talking about if Ethan Driscoll, right, as he's making progress, will that turn into something? But we right now, man, this offensive line, Marcus, I feel good about. I don't know anybody else, to be honest with you. At least I haven't seen. If people are worried about it, I'm just going to tell you right now, don't be. I think this is just a solid young group of guys that we have.
Yeah, because it's good depth and it's also young too, and you gotta love that. I mean, like,
for a number of years, right?
Josh Simmons 22, Kingsley 22. So you're telling me our left side line is 22 right now? I mean, 5 years time, those guys. In 5 years, Simmons and Kingsley are going to be the same age as Jalen Moore is right now. I mean, that's wild. I mean, like, Jalen Moore's a young guy, but he's 27. But you're talking about Kingsley and Simmons in 5 years will be 27. I mean, that's 5 years of these guys being, in their prime of their life, and not even in their prime yet, really. At 27, you don't even be in your prime.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, gotta love that.
Great place to be, brother. I'm telling you, it's a great place to be. I don't really worry too much about this group at all.
Yeah,
I think we're good where we at.
For sure. Yeah. We saw it a few years ago when Veach kind of redid the offensive line when he got Creed after the Super Bowl. When Tampa dominated us, he went out and got Trey Smith, went out and got Creed Humphrey, traded for Orlando Brown Jr. He fixed the offensive line right there. In this offseason, looks like he's doing the same thing. Obviously, we need to see what Josh Simmons can look like and Jalen Moore can look like, but it's seeming like that we have that. And then also, year two of King Suma. Maybe he's the guy left guard. I mean, and that was last year's draft. So, it's Veach, again, the scouting department, phenomenal. Witchy Hall. Veach's scout team has got to come through. Yeah, and it's seeming like they have. We'll see.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to the offensive guard room, JD. So we talked about Kingsley, guard, left guard, Trey Smith. Obviously, those are the two top dogs. Hopefully, we'll see Trey Smith soon. Mike Caliendo, who filled in admirably last season. CJ Hansen, friend of the show. And then, again, Issa Poole, Dalton Cooper, two of the new guys we brought in. And then Tremaine Antrim, new guy we brought in. JD, what stands out from the guard room here? It seems like gosh, is that much more, many more tackles? I guess it's about the same, about 7 to 8.
Yeah. When you go through the three, Trey, Kingsley, Caliendo, solid guys, and the rest are young guys, young, inexperienced guys. So that's what I see. That's what I see from the guard room right now. But I do believe, Trey's here and Kingsley takes that left guard. I think we'll be fine. Shoot. Then Mike waiting in the wind. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I see from the guard room would be like God forbid Trey Smith holds out. What do we do at that right guard spot? That's the only thing. And again, we found over the years, we've done it right. Alec Reddy ended up getting a good contract somewhere because he filled in, right? We've been able to find those guys. That's why I think last year the whole Chris Jones stuff came up. We're like, oh, we have to pay Trey Smith in the future. It's like, no, we're going to pay Chris Jones, and we'll deal with the guard spot when that comes up. But I guess looking at it like this, it's like, okay, well, if Trey Smith's not there, who's going to fill in that spot? But again, we found Alec Grady. Alec Grady was a killer for us in the Super Bowl against the Niners. When Joe Tooney went out, everyone thought that was going to be a death sentence for the Chiefs, but we were able to find those guys to plug and play. I would say Caliendo, he looked okay at times, but we have been proven to find those guards to fill in when we needed.
Yeah, so somebody's going to show up from this group. We're going to hear some good things out of somebody else besides. The King Suma and Mike Caliendo. Somebody else is going to step up in this group, man. And then we don't be shocked if we see somebody talking about one of the tackles might have came in to play this guard too. So
for sure, they like the versatile linemen.
Oh yeah, poor us. We have so much talent to choose from. So glad we're out of the desperation position filling times. No question with you. I agree with you 1,000%. Across the board, I think we're fine. I think we're going to be okay, Marcus. That was our main question was the left tackle. That has been answered.
Yeah, that was the biggest.
We got two. Yeah,
we got two of them. We didn't think we were going to get one of them.
Right.
Stanley Mooney. I know we lost our confidence in Wanya Morris at left tackle, but give him some reps at left guard. What do you make of Wanya's his skill set? How does that transfer over to guard, JD?
I think it does. I think he could play either side. That's a good thing about Wanya. Wanya is such an athletic guy that he could play either way or either side at tackle or guard. So Wanya is a guy that I'm rooting for to say, hey, man, you get yourself to where you need to get to, and you can earn a whole lot of money in this league. You can earn a whole lot of money. So,
hey, there he is. There's Chad.
Yeah, greatest show the podcast. Appreciate that, Neff.
Appreciate you, buddy.
You will. Thank you so much. So, G concerns. Word, Neff. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, Neff is holding it down. Thanks, Chad. Word.
The G concerns trend there.
Yes, sir.
All right, then we have our last position group here, JD. This is the easiest one. Was the Creed Humphrey, Hunter Norzad position, the room. Obviously, Norzad can play all the positions, but last year he was the guy in that Week 18 game who came in at the center spot for Creed Humphrey. JD, obviously, like I said, PFF had Creed Humphrey as their number one rated center.
Yeah.
No shock there.
No, I knew he was one of the top centers in the league, if not number one. No question about it. I think he's established himself very quickly as being that. So let me just tell everybody what the center, what comprises of them to know. So the centers are the ones that sets the defense. Okay, calls out the protection, calls out who's all in the box. Communicates with the quarterback as far as what he's going to do. He snaps the football. He's got to get off the – that's a hard position to play, man, at center. You got to be a hell of a player, man, to play center. And we got one. We got one of the best in Creed Humphrey. Like I said, the number one center in rated right now. And that is by what he's been doing out there on the field. And you know why he's rated number one. Hunter Norzad, I'm sure he's a good guy too, right? I'm sure he's a hell of a player. He got a lot of praise, when he's coming in. And like you said, he could play probably different positions too, Marcus. So, he's a Persian guy. Hey,
we love our Persians over here, JD. We
Persians do it. How to get down, baby.
We're versatile guys, man. We're versatile.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I think it's a solid group for sure. Yeah,
and that's another guy too. And we talked about guys coming to maybe fill in guard spots. If someone's not there, he's another guy who can do it, you know? So it's another guy who can play all over the line, specifically guard and center, but he can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So,
yeah. So
yeah,
love this.
Good hands right there, baby.
Hey, look at those things. Big. He's a big kid. He's a big kid. A lot of kebab, a lot of Persian kebab, and a lot of gourmet sapsi. Those are gourmet sapsi is a very Persian dish.
Oh, is it? What is it? What's it called?
Gourmet sapsi.
Gourmet sapsi.
So GHORMEH space Sabzi SABZI. Look it up. It's actually really good.
Is it okay? All right. What does it consist of? What is it?
Man, let's see. Let's pull up Gourmet Sapsi for you guys. I'll tell you what. When your dad or any family member cooks it in your house, it's gonna smell like that for weeks.
You smell it. I love it.
Your pores will smell like it too. So that can be a good or that can be a good or bad thing too.
That's all right. I like food like that. You know, it goes through you. So
here's Gourmet Sapsi. Just gonna pull up the Google images so you guys can see what me and Hunter Norris dad are eating on the weekends, guys. But of course, his bill is entirely different than mine. So that is Gourmet Sapsi right there.
Gourmet Sapsi.
A lot of good meat chunks in there.
Beef stew, it says. Oh,
yeah, it can be a stew, but you put it over rice too. So it's like you put that like that right there over rice. Like I think that's a good example of it.
Okay. Yeah, me and Neff, man, we like our Mediterranean dishes.
Oh yeah, no, it's good stuff.
Love it.
So you got
chitterlings, chitlins. That's what you chitlins. Have you ever had chitlins? You know what chitlins are?
Chicken feet?
No. Chitlins is pig intestines.
Oh no, my dad. My dad is Muslim, so we didn't eat pork growing up. So
okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
The only time I had pork was when I went to friends' house and I had pepperoni pizza. That'd be the only time.
Get that out of here! Out of here!
Oh yeah.
I don't do too much pork now anyway myself. I'm a Southern girl, but I don't eat chitlins. Nasty. That's what the Richie Hall said. Chitlins is always about like how you cook it. We're gonna talk a quick thing about chitlins. So it's all about how you clean them. Once you clean them, man, and I to be honest with you, I never liked chitlins. Never. My mom would always cook me something different when somebody would cook chitlins. Now, souse is like the same thing. It's like pig intestines, all type of things, all rolled into one. And my uncle used to make some, boy, and that souse was good. But they did have some chitlins up north in Philly, okay, that were exquisite. And they chopped them real fine, like some of these pictures up here. And man, they put a lot of hot sauce and spices on it. Ooh, wee! I was like, yo, you know what? This is not too bad.
It's chitlins Philly style. Let's see if that's a thing.
Yeah.
Chitlins Philly style.
Chitlins. G-Pick said no thanks.
Not bad.
Yeah, I mean they some can make it very delectable. Cordell said Menudo was good. Menudo? You talking about the singing group Menudo? Menudo used to be all the grave back there. Y'all remember Menudo?
Menudo food? Oh, it's a Menudo recipe. Menudo. Oh, it's like pork. Yeah, pork Menudo. I guess it's.
I ain't never heard that before.
It looks like it says Filipino.
Oh,
it's a Filipino recipe, I believe.
No, yeah. I just remember Menudo, the singing group that Ricky Martin used to be in. Y'all remember that? I know somebody out there like, yeah, I remember Menudo. Haggis, Scottish for chitlins. Oh, Sid McBride, haggis. Okay.
Oh, haggis. Oh, okay. Oh, menudo's Mexican. Oh, okay.
You know, it was Mexican. Okay. Akai 7. All right. We learned some things out here right now. Mexican with tripe in it.
Tripe. Oof. Tripe's.
What's that? What's that?
Tripe's intestines, I think.
Oh.
I had it one time thinking it was something else, and I was bad mistake.
Natty Sherry said chitlins are like haggis. Leave animal and internal organs alone. I hear you. I agree with it. There's no way you could clean those things good enough for me. Even though I tried some every once in a while. Stomach lining, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yep. Sasha says this. Look, everybody chiming in for chitlins. So everybody know what chitlins and stuff is. Haggis, you know, is another one, right? Chitlins are fine as long as you aren't around when they're prepared. Yes, Sasha. You talking about running you out of the house with that smell? Woo.
Menudo, once you're like 16 or 17, you got kicked out of the group. LOL.
That's true. That's true. Linda Hunter. I knew it. I knew somebody remembered Menudo. Yeah, 17, man. Tripe is cow intestines. Okay.
Cow intestines, yep. All right, so we got some questions from you guys we're going to get to here before we head out of here. Yeah, the show always has to end with the food kind of nugget, JD. That's it always has to. That's how the complete the full episode of a Chief Concerns episode with some food talk at the end.
Oh yeah. Oh, chicken livers. Oh, that's good. Here we go.
So Lonnie Period asks, what would be an area of concern if there is any on the offensive line?
On the offensive line, Lonnie, is he saying specifically the offensive line?
I think it was something because I think he asked us at the beginning when you were talking about your overall kind of where you were with the offensive line. That's when he asked that question.
I don't really have any concerns on offensive line, to be honest with you. I think we're pretty solid. Now, this whole thing with Trey Smith, how's it going to play out? If something doesn't, no overall. All right, that's what I kind of figured that. It's a very good question. The second cornerback, second corner. That's pretty much it, man. Safety, who's going to step up to be the guy? I know Cook is kind of the guy now. Well, we got Mike Edwards. Mike is there. We got Mike still.
We got Major too.
And Major is there. You know, and I wanted, young guys like that, like Major coming in, just showing what he can do. There's a lot of guys in secondary, man. It's always been like that. So how all this going to, bear itself out? But as far as any concerns, I think we did a great job addressing everything we needed to address, Marcus.
I mean, the reason why we did so well with the draft this year is because we drafted on need, also getting the kind of best player as well. And Veach really literally went down the need and that best player as well, and did a great job of kind of doing actually what you and Tasia wanted to do. Tasia wanted a BPA, you said draft for need kind of deal, and then he kind of did both of that. With the draft, which is why we were so successful as far as naming the guys that we drafted. So yeah, Veach did a phenomenal job. So it's really kind of hard to pinpoint the area of concern. And even with the number 2 cornerback, I don't know if it's an area of concern. They paid Christian Fulton a lot of money, but it's not about concern so much. So will Fulton stay healthy, right? Because he had some injury issues last year. Will Jalen Watson stay healthy? Can he sustain the element of play he played before the injury? So, I mean, we have guys who could be the number 2. It's just all about that sustaining. And, yeah, I would say number 2 cornerback or safety spot would be the only 2 elements there. But for the most part, it's really hard to find a element of concern on this team.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Faye? Good to see you here. I agree with you. And I think it boils down to this, Marcus, really. It is consistency. We need a lockdown guy that matches up with McDuffie. We need that. We need that. So who's going to step up, man? Who's going to step up to the plate? We got guys out there, right? We do. Noah Williams, heard some good things about Noah, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
I mean, it's a luxury to sit here and say that we're most concerned about the number 2 cornerback spot. We can just list 3 dudes who could fill that spot, right? Fulton, Jalen Watson, and Noah Williams. All 3 guys who, hey, they could be a great number 2. They could be a great number 3. And you know what? We can go 4 deep with cornerbacks. That's pretty nice to have. The luxury to have. Which last year we never really had that.
well, we're not talking about field. We wanted to dominate,
right?
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
And all those guys are capable. I do.
Sure.
I believe all those guys are capable. So
and even Josh Williams as a number 5 cornerback.
Man, come on. Oh, Josh figures out, man. He can blow it out the water. He just like, okay, this is mine. I mean, we were watching from the last year.
Yeah, we've seen him do it before.
Yeah, of course. So,
all right. So we got a question from G-Pick. I wonder if Chiefs can afford Jair Alexander. ... JD, what were your thoughts when you saw he got released today? And do the Chiefs have any chance of getting him unless he wants to come to a team just to win a Super Bowl for a year?
I don't know. I don't think we can afford all that right now, man. What are we trying to do? Look, man, we trying to we trying to ball on the budget at this moment. Okay, there's some things we got to address. See, now I knew he's gonna say. I was gonna see if he's gonna say something. He's always talking about we getting Green Bay leftovers. I knew you was gonna say it. Now I knew it. I knew you was gonna say it because I was gonna first say, "Neff, what do you think?" But he's been hurt a little bit. Unhappy up there at Green Bay, and guess what? We ain't getting leftovers. We getting them at their prime because they don't like playing up in Green Bay. Why? Because there's nothing up there and they're cold and that and they're frauds. So cheeseheads. Oh man.
Yeah. I think the only way he comes is if it's he intends to stay going for 1 year and like a veteran minimum type deal. Otherwise, Chiefs aren't offering him anything. And we have a million cornerbacks, as I think, as G said, we have a lot of quarterbacks already. So
yeah, well, in which he said you can work out the deal with Green Bay, like he's going to take a 2 deal. We have enough cornerbacks. We do. We pack.
Yeah, yeah. Bradley Sexton. We answered this question last week. Bradley, I was trying to mention last week about Mel Blount rule and change. Would you tweak to the rules to make it better to give some freedom? Oh, would you tweak the rules? That JD said he would not tweak the rules.
No, I'm an offensive guy. Nope. I think, but with Bradley, if you remember what we said about it, I believe that the corners and everybody else has gotten more skillful because of this rule. And that's what I love to see. Those guys, man, are some of the best athletes on the field for a reason. And I think, if you take away from that type of, talent, man, I don't like it. I love to see a corner, man, that's going to come in and play a guy. And at the 5 yards, you just got to play ball at that point, right? I love seeing a very talented corner. And so that's why we said we have a boatload of them on our team, man. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Pono Kawhi. Oh, man, I just deleted it. But Pono asked, what happens if Kingsley doesn't look good at guard?
Then we got Mike Caliendo. We got other guys too. I think we'll be fine. I think he's going to look good at guard. If he doesn't, then we got depth. We got depth there, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll flop in Pono. I don't think he'll flop at guard. From Andy Heck's, his evaluation, what he's been talking about, his progress seems very promising from those guys. And I think Andy Heck don't want to say, yeah, he's going to be the starter. But when I heard him in his press conference, it's almost like he was like, you could tell how thrilled he was talking about King Suman and what he looked like. So,
yeah.
Nana Sherry said, or Narzad, he can go out there. I think we'll be fine.
And we got CJ Hansen as well.
Nana Sherry says, ooh, Nana, keep Trent. See if Ashton can take Karlofka's place next year.
Oof.
Start some, ain't you, Nana? It's all about NFL, man. It's price point. What do guys want? What are you going to do? How's it going to look? So,
yeah. Deshaun Hammonds had a comment shortly after we were talking about Kingsley. He said, Kingsley will be fine at guard. I talked to Turk. He said in the drills, quote, he locked all our asses up. Chris, too.
Yeah. Right.
Some insider info there, Deshaun.
Yeah, man. Look, Kingsley, man, he's a big guy. He's athletic. He's strong. I don't think he'll have any problems. Like I said, it just makes it easier moving down the guard. Really. And no disrespect to guards. So, my point exact, no matter who the starting left guard is, he will have two good linemen on each side of him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%. Bradley Sexton. Question. I feel like the Chiefs dynasty is better than the Patriots dynasty, and they haven't done and what we have done, going to 5 out of 6 Super Bowl appearances. And yes, Eyewitness is the 20 years Pat run.
We speak about this, and we talk about the things that Tom Brady had. He had a very top 10 defense every single year. Went to the Super Bowl. They've always been kind of one of the top defenses during that time. I don't know. Something about the Pats, man, just winning it. I just didn't like it. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you another reason. The guys are much more personable because we're not under the boot of Belichick. Andy Reid is a much more colorful guy than Belichick. You know what I'm saying? It was like he was so drab in his presence, appearance, and all those different things. And he's not like that at all. He's doing commercials. We got, Travis Kelce's out there in Hollywood. He's dating the biggest pop star. When you sit there and you watch Patrick Mahomes, he's doing a great thing. The way he is, and he's answering questions. Even though we're like Tom Brady, I just think, man, this team is just more personable, more fun, loving, joyful. That's who they are. That's who they are. And so a lot of people don't like seeing that. These guys love having fun. They do. They just didn't really have that up there. Flooded with positivity. Yeah. It was almost like the guys up in New England didn't even enjoy being up in New England. It's almost like they couldn't even enjoy it. And Neff says they are cheaters. Yeah, they won off a couple little things, controversies on being there as well. Thank you for that, Neff. A known fact, been caught. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Yeah, like to hear that. Tuck rule, Spygate, Deflategate, anything else? Right.
Seriously.
Marred Marcus with controversy around them. Which you all said, word? Absolutely.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Belichick changed up his image though at UNC with his 23-year-old girlfriend. He's changed up his image.
Woo! Got a little young bitty, but then all of a sudden, okay, I'm gonna say this. They getting on Shannon Sharp about the young girl and this and that and such, those things. And Bill Belichick, man, he's having a good time. They ain't never said nothing about Bill. Whoever is his girlfriend, but she's trying to ruin it all.
Yeah, I mean, there are sources that Pablo Torre said that he's got family members who are concerned about what's going on with that because, like, she'll be in charge of his estate if that continues the way it's going right now.
A lot of controversy out there, man. I'm not saying what Shannon did was, any better, but I'm just saying, when you look at things like that, they start bringing up age at the time. Bill's just having fun. He's just on a ride, man. That sucker dresses better. He looks a lot more joyful, a lot more happy, a little bit better pep in his steps. He's gotten out of the old nasty sweatshirts, suck his cheese in there, that little smile. He don't want to smile all the way. There's a little side smile he does. Stan Musial, run, Bill, run.
I will say his that interview he did with CBS, and she said, when I answering that question, she got involved. I was like, whoa, it's kind of weird. Apparently the reporter said she did it the entire time, but they only showed that once on they wanted to show it once just to show an example of what the interview was like, but she was interrupting the entire time apparently.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to answer. We are not going to answer his question. Well, we weren't asking we're asking him, not you. We're asking Bill, okay?
It was how did you guys meet? It was the question. And apparently the story goes that he actually met her originally on an airplane when she was 18. That's when he first meets her, but they don't become official till like 4 years later. That's the reason why they're weird about the answering the question. That's what Pablo Torre has been reporting.
On the airplane at 18 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is funny. She said she doesn't want to tell anyone they met at an escort service. I was sitting there thinking like she don't want to answer that. It could be. Yeah.
Do that too. So Justin,
right now, y'all are so funny.
The Belichick thing, yeah, it's a ratings it's a ratings thing. Right? Colin Cowherd was talking about on the show earlier today. He said that if you look at all the metrics of all his shows, whenever he talks about Cowherd, whenever he talks about the Belichick situation, that video blows up on YouTube and everything. That's like number one topic everyone wants to talk about right now is the Belichick and the Jordan Hudson topic. Yeah. But we're talking about Jawan Taylor, not Jordan Hudson. Justin The Way asks, when will we get rid of Jawan Taylor? And the question to you would be after this season based on his dead money. So if the Chiefs cut him before the start of the 2026 season, they'd face if the Chiefs cut him, it would cost the Chiefs $27 million. So yeah, we don't want to do that this year. It would be a next year thing. So it'd be after this season.
Yeah, but we don't know if he Justin, the way you talking about Taylor, Jawan Taylor, or you talking about Taylor Swift? Well, yeah, you never know what people are saying, but yeah, it's Jawan Taylor.
I hope you're talking about Jawan.
we love Taylor Swift too. So
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And then final question here is Chiefs fitted. Yo, JD, any way to confirm when training camp is going to start this year? I heard July 20th, but no way to confirm. Any way you can find out? Yeah, all they have online is mid-July.
Yeah, I can find out. Sure can. I'll come back on Wednesday, let you know.
Cool. Cool. So you guys have it. JD will give you guys the fresh date, the exclusive date of the training camp. So just share it with our Chief Concerns people. Tell them to subscribe to the channel, and then they'll get the date. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But all right, guys.
Justin Blackwell says also Jordan. Also Jordan what? See, they find a way out here talking. LT and now Belichick. Oh. Boy, yeah, out here. Also Jordan. Oh, so Neff is talking about North Carolina. He's bringing out North Carolina people.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What is that? Buys one like, what is that? What is that image right there? I can't
tell.
I have no idea what that is, Justin.
So it's like a monster?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know.
Well, listen, look, I got it. Hey, man, it's good conversation talking about all these different things, these different topics out here. We're going to let Bill live a little bit, man. He's enjoying himself, okay? And she's keeping him in line, apparently, from what we hear, or at least what everybody's saying out there. Somebody said they was controlling Bill like Robin Givens was with Mike Tyson. That was a bad deal. Jeez. But, it's a monkey. Is that a monkey? She says. So, Just Black was JD. How you gonna feel if some grandpa go picking up your daughter at 18? If that sucker didn't need dentures before, he would after I get finished with him. Yeah. And that sucker he gonna need he gonna need a walk and all that. That sucker can never ever do anything like that. I promise you that. So
yeah, I felt like that answer was coming from you when I saw that question.
and if Bill came out, I fold Bill up so bad, like a cheap suit. I fold that joker up. The joker be a lawn chair after I get finished with him. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing that. Not around here, not. No, sir. So now that we'll talk about the topic's going to be on Wednesday. We're going to bring some things up. Actually, some people I'm reaching out to. So hopefully I get somebody and we'll talk about it. We'll let y'all know either tomorrow or on Wednesday who it's going to be. So, well, look, I know we got to get out of here. I appreciate everybody coming out, man, having a conversation about this. North Carolina is still they're going to be terrible, even with Bill out there. So that's for Neff. But listen, hey, look, I appreciate everybody coming out here and having a conversation. It's good talk about the offensive line. I think we should be fine. I really do. I think as far as like the type of talent we have up here, it's very young talent, very capable talent. What's going to happen with Trey, we will find out more so in July as far as when those times are going to come and what's going to come about that. But I think we're going to be all right. I think we're going to be good. So with that being said, Marcus, my brother, man, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much. And thank each and every one of you guys out here. We enjoy you so much. And we just filled with joy. We feel with joy with y'all coming out here and hanging out with us, man. But we enjoy the conversation, man. Y'all family. I love you. Y'all funny people. Y'all be right here in the Dunn household. Y'all are here, man. That's what we do. We get up here, we start talking and chopping up, doing all different things. So let me go through here telling this, man. Everybody, man. Greg Rose, peace, my brother. Night to great show. Thanks, Sarah071. Linda Hunter, thank you as well. Chief Fitted, my guy. Appreciate it, my guy. Sasha, thank you, Sasha. G Pick, Lonnie Pyramid, Witchy Hall, Zulu, G out here. Nana Sherry, thank you so much. Who else we got? Stanley Mooney, appreciate you, my man. Justin Blackwell, my guy. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the question. Neff, appreciate you, Neff. Love you. Be talking to you after this. Let me see. Sam McBride, thank you, sir. Appreciate it for coming out here tonight. Who else? I'm the Brown, my guy. Sounds like she was over control. Robin, that's what he said. Yeah, it does sound like that. Let's see who else we got out here. Yeah, good topics, man. Good topics. I'm glad y'all was talking about that. So yeah, let me see. Cordell Robinson. Yeah, hasn't been a long time. How about since he letting their linebacker go? Who they let go? Who Cincinnati get rid of?
Was it Pratt? I think they got rid of Pratt, maybe.
Oh, okay. I don't know. We don't want no Cincinnati leftovers. There's one leftover we don't want.
Yeah, Jermaine Pratt.
Okay. I just had to say that. Bengals fans is peeking in and peering in and looking. Got something for y'all too. Faye Smith, appreciate it. Gary Holland, my man, appreciate you, sir. Let me see. Pono Kawhi, I know you was in here, so I'm going to say what's up to you as well. Justin Blackwell, appreciate it. I think I said hi to Zulu, my man. Thank you. Let me see who else we got.
JD Deshaun Hammond says, JD, your former teammate John McGraw sends his regards.
Deshaun, my brother, appreciate it, man. Tell John I said what's up. Tell John I've been trying to get in contact with him too. Actually, it was a thing, man. We wanted to honor John here in the state of Kentucky for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But tell John to give me a shout, man. All right. Tell him I hope he's doing well. Sending my love to him my way, man. Deshaun, my brother. Good seeing you as well, my guy. Who else we got here? DeMonte Green Bees is here. DeMonte Green Bees on here, man. We've been chopping them up since some things as far as like some rap stuff out here, man. Greg Rose, my guy. Good to see you out here, Greg Rose. Let me see. I can hear the music.
Very subtle.
Hey, good night. I told you, go home, go home. That's what I told you, Tracy Ullman. Bradley Sexton, appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much. 0071 as well. We said Andre Chenault. I know we told you happy birthday to your granddaughter. Hope y'all having a good day. The barbershop, my guy. Good to see you, my man. I think that's Hippie Cypriot. Good to see you, Hippie. Where's Laura Zingzer? She's usually here. Didn't see Laura tonight. Hope
She was there. She said good night. Yeah.
Good night, Laura. Oh, good night, Laura. See, I didn't get to see you earlier. I have to remember names now, Laura. See, Nathaniel Walker. What's going on, my guy? Good to see you as well. Ray028. Jeremiah DeMuertos. Thank you, sir. Who else we got here? Kevin is in here. Was in here. Hope y'all still in here. I think it's it. Chief 65 point. Listen, y'all take care. We love you all. Look, y'all love each other the way we're supposed to. Some crazy worlds out here, man. We need to do a much better job treating each other the way we're supposed to be treating each other. Marcus, my brother, with that, man, I love you. God bless. Y'all take care. We will see y'all on Wednesday. See you on Wednesday. All right?
Love you too, brother. Love y'all. Wednesday night. See you guys in 2 days.
Yes, sir.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.